One other thing you said in the book, even as Christians, the fact is that because you had this split mind, you loved the Lord, but the fact is you fudged in terms of what He was laying down as standards. You said, that's just too difficult for me to do. I just can't control my eyes, can't control my thoughts. In fact, I don't even want to. I like the way I'm doing things. You said that as you went along, you felt dead inside.
Yes.
And you felt a distance from God, even though you were a Christian. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, there's so many distances I felt. I felt distant from God because, I had told Him 100 times that I would stop, and then I wouldn't. And I got to the point where I couldn't even look Him in the eye anymore in prayer. It just felt horrible. And, I felt disconnected, like I said, from my wife. I felt disconnected from myself. I wasn't who I said I was. I was just having a conversation with my 15-year-old son just the other day, and of course he's right in the middle of all this. He's 15 and growing up in a public school. All those girls around, just like we said. But I was talking to him. I said, we're going through a book on leadership, and I'm bringing in these other principles to help him understand. I said, son, manhood is hearing the Word of God and keeping it. That's how God sees manhood. Leadership is being the same in private as you are in public. You cannot be a great leader unless you're the same in private as you are in public, because you don't feel character, you don't feel heroic, you don't feel like a man. And so we've been talking extensively about that. And I guess what I would say, the best thing that's happened in my life, besides getting closer to God and my wife, is that I feel so much more like a man now because I have control over my sexuality. It does not control me. And like I've been teaching my son, anybody can run around with girls and do whatever you want along those lines. But eventually you're going to feel disconnected from who you are, because you say you're a Christian, but you just seem like one because you're going to church. You're not really being one. And until you start being a Christian and being a man, standing up and doing the things you say that you are, you're never going to feel comfortable with yourself.
Well, you were saying, what do you say to the guy that doesn't want to change? And I'd say I'd be really worried. Maybe you think that you've become all that you can be as a man and connecting with a woman, and that isn't true. We're never done. But also I'd be worried that I'm a sex addict and I'm not really seeing the reality of my situation, and I don't realize that, I'm lying to myself. The psalmist said, God, keep me from lying to myself. And if you look at your relationships, you might find that they're driven by a sexual addiction, not driven by a true love and appreciation for other people. And if that's the case, maybe it's time that you get some help, not just trying to be a better man, but really try to stop this addiction.